Hey everyone, we're gonna start soon. I'm just trying to add Mallory to the chat. Hi!
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. I think people are joining, so yeah, but we can start, I guess. Sometimes they do take time, but you're looking lovely.
As
So
are you, and I'm very
thank
jealous of your
you.
background. That is this your home or office or
So this is my home. It's my home library. As you can see, I
whoa.
have romance books, and my latest edition is Save the Date. And I've tried to match my outfit as much as possible to the cover. So yeah,
That's amazing. I appreciate that.
yes. Thank you so much for joining. And I know you must be having a very busy, hectic schedule because you're marketing your new book, and marketing is like such a hectic process, as we all know. So, yeah, thank you so much for taking your time and being
Oh,
here.
it's my pleasure. And also I keep sneaking away from work to do this because I also have a full-time job. So it's been a hectic week, but super fun.
Awesome, awesome. So let's get started. So I know that you are already a published author. Like you have published 7 books. They are under your pen author name. So it's under Cass Morgan and not Mallory Kass. And most of those books are dystopian, sci-fi, fantasy genre. And now you have done this complete 180 and you have this romance genre book, which I love. I am super duper excited about this.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it is wedding chaos. It is messy, but in the most positive way and happy way possible. So yeah, like I enjoyed reading it, and you have done this complete 180, and you have also published this book under your real name, which is like a huge step for any
Yes.
author. Yes. So what changed? Like, what drove you to not only switch genres, switch titles, and then give something new to your audience? Yes.
Yeah, I had so much fun writing The Hundred and The Ravens as Cass Morgan.
Mhm.
And those books had a lot of me in it. I don't think an author can write a book that's not personal, but they were genres that I loved, but maybe never really saw myself staying in long term.
Mhm.
So I had the sort of itch to write a contemporary romance, and I that's a space I want to be in for a while. So I thought, why not? Let's do it. Also, I grew up a lot while writing all my Cass Morgan books. I also went to a zillion weddings, so while I was at all of those, I started imagining what it would be like to write a story that takes place during the most hectic, chaotic, romantic weekend of all time. And it just naturally lent itself to the adult category. So it was sort of a natural transition.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think it's good to switch genres and experiment also. And I think wedding is such a great category because I mean, if I have to talk about Save the Date, it has so many elements in it. Like you have romance, you have drama, you have action, you have 3 female leads who have like 3 different personalities. Then because it's happening in a wedding, you have wedding guests who are like these quirky characters. Like some of them I enjoyed reading so much. And then obviously you have the 3 men who are all good looking, green flag. And we'll definitely talk about them. I want to know more about, like what inspired you there. So there are like so many point of views also. Like every chapter, you have a different point of view, you have a different perspective, you have a different setting also. Like because all the 3 FMCs are in 3 different settings in that same wedding weekend. So how did you balance everything and make sure that each character got their spotlight, nobody faded into the background? So yeah, I was really curious about that.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the danger of writing a multiple POV book is that sometimes the author has a tendency to favor one character over the others or to connect
Mm-hmm.
with them. And it sort of shows if one is their favorite. So there were some characters that seemed a little more similar to me. It was easier for me to get into their head. So I had to also make sure I gave them qualities that I don't necessarily admire or I don't see in myself or I sort of dislike about myself. So that no character was too perfect. Everyone had good qualities, everyone has serious flaws.
Mhm.
And if I felt myself getting a little too close to one character, it was time for me to take a step back and think, okay, what is keeping me from feeling that same level of investment in the other characters, and how do I bring that out?
Interesting. So when you say that you took a step, like you had to take a break when you were like getting too much involved in one character, was it like you had to take like a respite of like 2 days, or like what was your process like to put yourself in Olivia's shoes, put yourself in Marigold versus put yourself in Natalie?
Yeah, it's sort of like a challenge of imagination and empathy. So, Marigold, who's the bride,
Mhm.
she's the character I struggled with the most at first because she's this glamorous it girl, sort of party girl influencer. And I think I was writing her in the beginning from a little bit of a place of judgment because I thought of her as a certain type. But if you're writing an archetype, that is never going to be fun for people to read. They have to be a real person. So it took a number of drafts for me to figure out what drives her, what is her she insecure about, what makes her feel vulnerable, what makes her feel excited. And throughout the course of the revision process, I added more nuance and texture. And she, of course, ended up being just as dear to me as the other characters.
No, that's a great answer. And just like because we are on the question and we talked about the three men also, like tell us more about them. Like because each one is like a green flag, but in their own way, and they have their flaws also. So it's not like all green. Maybe like a light green shade over there, or maybe a not even a beige. I won't call them a beige flag, but maybe light green. Yeah, that would be the color to go with. So like those three men, like how did
Hmm.
because not all of them are exactly opposite of the FMC. It's not like,
Hmm.
just an opposite attracts trope for every couple. So, yeah, just like what.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you saying that they're all green flags because yeah, those men make some pretty wild choices throughout the course of this book, but I like to think they all have really good hearts and they deserve their
Yes.
happy ending. So the fact that you liked all of them is very satisfying and gratifying. It's yeah, sort of the same as with the women. I wanted to make sure that they are love interests. They're people the reader could sort of fantasize about and might want to be with in some alternate reality, but they also are real people with flaws that should give the reader pause as much as they give the characters pause. And I think the one I had the most fun with was Zach.
He's my favorite.
Oh, thank you. So he's a sort of a professor of political theory and he has a Substack and he's writing a book and he just thinks he knows everything about American politics and economics and he's sort of like a
Yeah.
eat the rich Bernie bro type. And of course, he has a crush on Olivia, who's the stepdaughter of this billionaire, and naturally conflicts arise. But I sort of appreciate what you said about how they're not all opposites. Like Olivia and Zach share the same intensity and
Yes.
loyalty, and they'll do anything for the people they love. So it was interesting to see how those shared characteristics manifest in two very different types of people.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for answering that because I especially like Zach, and when you mentioned Zach, I was like, oh, I like Zach too. But
I love him.
yes. So like there are so many characters. There must be so many scenarios in your head when you are like, writing the book. But obviously, not every chapter made it to the final version, right? There must be so many drafts which you had, and then there must be so many, like, there must be an editing process also which went, which happened. So, was there a scene? Maybe it was like a funny scene, romantic scene, or there are many emotional scenes between the daughters and the mother too. So, was there any scene which was very close to your heart, but then you had to like sadly, like, side it
Oh,
because
yeah, always. And generally, the phrase kill your darlings. If there's a scene that you love more than the others, there might be a reason that it doesn't belong. It's sort of like what I was saying about developing the three POV characters. Like, you
Hmm.
really shouldn't have favorites. And I had so much fun writing all these scenes with the really catty bridesmaids. So they are rich girls, Marigold's childhood friends
Yeah.
from the Upper East Side. And I was writing these caricatures of these private school girls who never really grew up and like kind of all secretly hate each other. And my editors did not like it. They're like, why would our main characters still be friends with these like terrible women? I'm like, oh, maybe you don't actually understand toxic female friendships, but they were right. It was me having fun, sort of skewering a certain type of person, but it didn't fit with the story. So they were absolutely right to ask me to cut it. But I did have fun writing them.
Do you ever plan to like release those draft versions? Maybe like we'll subscribe to your newsletter and just pester you like for
That's a great idea. I have been meaning to start a newsletter, and that would be fantastic content.
yeah, like the just the bridesmaid chaos, like everything which
Yes.
happens. Yes.
Or a whole other book.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely we want to read more from you in this genre. So yeah,
Thank
definitely
you.
new books. But yeah. Okay, so now I think this is the last segment in a way, and kind of like a rapid fire which I had. So I'm just gonna ask you questions and just like answer them fast, but it's okay even if you want to explain a bit more because
Okay.
I don't mind talking longer with you. So, okay, the first question. So, if you were a guest at this wedding, at Marigold and Jonathan's wedding, would you be team bride, team groom, or are you the person who will just go for the drama or the food?
Definitely just go for the drama. Absolutely.
Awesome. So, wedding hashtags cute or cringe?
Oh God. Cute if they're punny.
Mhm.
Cringe if they're not.
Oh, like this is like a side question. I'm getting distracted myself, but if you had a wedding hashtag for Marigold and Jonathan, like,
Oh my God. There's no way I could
sorry.
come up with that on the spot. I guess it has to be something with gold, right? I like, oh, Mary. Mary, gold. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Sort of
Yeah,
writes
that's it.
itself. Yeah.
Yes, it's funny and it's very them. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So yeah, this is a bit cliche, but I had to ask you if you had to pick between Jonathan, Zach, or Hugo. I think you've already answered, but still, like, oh,
I'm breaking my rule. Definitely Zach. The like Jonathan I love, but he's too perfect. He's a
yeah,
pediatric oncologist and yeah, you know
yeah,
what? I don't even is that a real job? Probably not. No, I know it is. But no, Zach is definitely the type of person I would
yeah.
date in real life.
Awesome. Yeah, same here. So, favorite wedding themed movie?
Ooh, it always alternates. There's so many, but I'm going to say My Best Friend's Wedding, which is totally unhinged. Like
Yeah,
she's the Julia Roberts character is a sociopath, and I love it.
yeah, I agree with you. I was gonna say the same movie, and I think the second one on my list was My Big Fat Greek Wedding,
Oh
like
yeah, I
one
haven't
and
watched that in
two.
a
Yeah,
while. Yeah,
those are chaotic.
love it.
And and the last one, like one wedding trope you love and one which you're completely over, like it needs to end. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, wait. In actual weddings or in like book weddings?
Book weddings. Let's go
Book
with book weddings.
weddings.
Yeah.
Oh. God, I can't think of any for books. So I'm gonna do real. I'll just get like I'll spill the tea and I'll do wedding like real life tropes I don't like. Um,
Hmm.
I don't think everyone should write their own vows. I think sometimes the classic is the way to go, and they sometimes get too personal or too weird. Or I went to one once where like the bride had like 10 pages and the groom had three sentences, so that was awkward. And the
Awkward.
thing I think we should have more of in weddings is no flowers, like no bands, like cut the costs, spend it on cocktails.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Practical
Food
advice.
is the priority.
Yes.
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 Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, Mallory. And I loved reading Save the Date. I'm
Thank
just
you
going to
so
take my
much.
copy from the shelf. And I love the cover too for it.
It's
Yeah.
so cute. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's something about pink romance books. It just makes your heart flutter and you want to read them. So thank you so much for the book. I hope that many, many, many people read it. And I'm just going to post this as a replay on platform. So if anybody wants to ask questions, they can just like ask them later on whenever they watch it. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. And this was
Oh,
like
thank
so
you.
nice. Yes.
I had so much fun. Have a great weekend. And
You too.
everybody, I hope you have something fun to read this week.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye guys.